Get away from her, you bitch!
Oh, shut up, you tart!
Who disrupts my coronation? Get to the chopper!
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Well, it's that time again, folks. Here we are. It's Wednesday, or is it Sunday? We don't know. Could be either. Ooh, it's time for Your Geek is showing.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
It's part 2 of Retro-Vember, folks. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yes, we are flowing this dead horse still. With me as ever, she's the queen of mean. She keeps on the scene, feeling keen and very clean. It's Callie Valentine.
Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to the show. I'm going to apologize straight away. I am still suffering with a sore throat, so if I sound like I'm gargling a frog, and I don't mean a Frenchman, that's why.
I've got a French mate. No?
Who are you, fucking Cilla Black with blind date over here? But anyway,
well, just as it happens.
Yeah.
A lot of surprises for you there, Callie.
See, I still think they should have done a crossover between that and Bullseye. Look what you could have gone out with.
What you could have fucked.
Exactly, you know.
What you could have fucked. Oh, she's 19. She's Filipino. Oh, you shit out. Take her back. Oh, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Never mind, son.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
How you been? Been all right? Been good?
Apart from dealing with this goddamn sore throat that just won't seem to budge, I'm relatively okay, thank you.
Good. Right then, we'd better journey on forthwith into the show. It's time for the shoutouts.
And up first over on the shoutouts from our Halloween episode is the son of the Pertwee, the Calico Crichton himself, Mr. Tony Harris from the Retro Movie Zone. He goes on to say, evening all, son of the Pertwee, aka the Calico Crichton here. Great episode, folks. Taken so many notes, which I've addressed on this weekend's video. I won't spoil it by going into them here, but you gave me shed loads to talk about this week, for which I am really grateful.
No problem.
More than welcome, Tony. If very much like how we can spend half an hour talking about you guys, you can spend half an hour talking about us.
Yeah, we don't mind.
No, we don't mind at all. We sing each other's praises, but their praises well earned. So, moving on. I do love the festival of Halloween, but the whole trick or treat thing does nothing for me, I'm afraid. Such a miserable old curmudgeon nowadays. Curmudgeon. That's a word you don't hear very often these days. Curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, curmudgeon. Sorry.
Yeah. Anything that involves people knocking on the door is a major turn off for me. Well, just say that on your Twitter. By the way, thank you for so much for the earworm that is your new intro theme, X-Men the Animated Series, if I'm not very much mistaken. Yes, but with our own little flair added to it, so we don't get the old copyright stamp. So we have to be careful with the sounds we use. There's many little behind the scenes thing here to talk about. The amount of times where I've gone, because we're doing this episode, I'm going to use this sound. And I've used the sound, no problems. But then I've used that same sound again later on down the line, and I've had a copyright claim pop on it. Not a copyright strike, because there's a difference. A copyright claim just means that video cannot be monetized. A copyright strike is you get 2 more, your channel's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference. But yeah, the amount of times I've done that and I've gone, wait, I've used it here and it's been okay, but not. Maybe it's something to do with the length of time that I've used it, the fact that I've not used other sounds across the top of it. I'm not sure the full legalities of it, but yes, it is the X-Men theme tune, and I just thought it was a good way to go into season 5 with seeing as there's a nice resurgence in the old mutants out there. Well, a couple of mutants right here.
2 right.
Thanks to you, I have this tune rattling around in my head 24/7 to the point I'm whistling it while walking through the warehouse. Great, but bloody irritating. It is. It is such an earworm. And again, another tangent here. It's one show that when I'm doing a rewatch on like Disney Plus and things like that, that little skip intro button comes up, and I'm like, no, no, you're not needed today. You're not needed right now. Anywhere else that skip button comes up, click, done. But X-Men, 97 and OG, I let that play every time because I love that theme tune.
Big up to Ron Wasserman, the composer of that tune.
Yes, we may have to inquire about maybe appearing on the show one day. We'll have to see about that. We don't know. We'll try.
We don't know. He is a lovely man.
Yes, we have spoken to him before.
Yes.
I see this week's episode has just dropped, and the description sounds right up my alley. And no, that's not a euphemism. Wink, wink. Great work, guys, and I promise to comment sooner this week. Ta-ta for now.
We'll hold you to that.
Yes, we will. Let me just get my mouse over to where it needs to be. Up next.
Another euphemism?
No. Up next, it is the Eddie Munson from Wish.com, Jimmy Lee Clifford.
Right up next.
Mm-hmm. In the Electric Six style lyric, Solo. That's a tumbleweed rolling past because we don't get that reference, I'm afraid. I also prefer Ibanez. Blame Statch and Vi.
Satch and Vi. Satriani, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai.
Oh, right. For the musically ones inclined, that makes fucking sense. To me, I was just like, who? I know Ibanez, I know that maker of guitar, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai are both proud Ibanez endorsees and have been for many a year, actually.
He goes on to say, thank you, Guy, for the aloe vera that burned.
You're welcome.
Apparently, Supernatural is back on Prime for free. Typical. Yes, I wanted to rant about this a little bit.
But not season 15.
Yes.
You have to pay for that.
But this is the thing that bugged me about it, right? On my continue watching list, it is left on season 15 because obviously I backtracked and I watched the Scooby episode over again. You click on that and it gives you all 15 seasons available to rent or buy. You go on a separate setting, a separate thing for, again, Supernatural. It's seasons 1 to 14. And I'm like, why did they take all of it off to bring it all back bar the last? Why not just take that last season away?
It's because, see, I found out the answer to this question from the adjudicator herself, the self-proclaimed Supernatural Uber fan.
Oh, yes.
And it's because the forum went absolutely shit fucking crazy. Yeah. And there are thousands of them. There are.
Oh, yeah. Supernatural's a big fucking thing. I know that.
And they all went, what the fuck? Right. That's the only reason I have a subscription to Prime. I'm cancelling my subscription. Bye.
Yeah.
And Prime have gone,
oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Right. Put them on. Put season 1 to 14. I think having season 15 be still in the pay window is just a bit of sour grapes on their part. Because they got
a little bit, but I think it's more understandable as well with season 15. That's only about 4 or 5 years old at this point, so it's still relatively a fresh.
Yeah, I know, but you still sent it out for free, so just.
Well, they did, yeah, but I mean, I was talking to my friends. I was talking to my friends on TikTok about this. I was like, I was ever so slightly annoyed by it, the fact that I marathoned through the last 5 seasons as hard as I did to get it watched, when I could have literally just. And this is the thing that really gets me as well, right? I could have just watched up to the end of season 14. And then rather than buying or renting it per episode on Prime for, I think it's £20 to buy the complete season, I could have gone to HMV, bought season 15 on Blu-ray for £12, saving myself, what, £7? Well, I'm sorry, but if it push had come to shove, I would have rather have gone and done that than put myself through okay, I chose to do it. Nobody forced me to do it, but it was like I felt under pressure because I need to get this finished. I've come this far. I need to see the ending. You know, like, and that's what fucked me off about it, for them to just take it away. And then literally, like, I think it was like 2 days later, it was like, bing, there you go. Have it all back. All back but the final one. That's fine.
We fucked up.
So that annoyed me ever so slightly. But yeah, back to Jimmy's comment over here. Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the Cobra Kai update. This usually slips my watch list net. However, I'm up to date, unlike others. Yeah, fuck off. I know. Again, because of Prime and what they did with Supernatural, all of the shows got pushed to one side. And unfortunately, Cobra Kai was one of those, because I just started watching it as they announced leaves Prime in 30 days. And I was like, right, okay, well, I've got to move my focus more over to Supernatural. So, and that's what I ended up having to do. So, but now I can get back onto it. So in a minute, you'll get to hear lots of shit from me this week. 1986, good year, Master of Puppets, Chernobyl, Challenger, ... me. I'm guessing that means that's when you were born in 86. Because this is from our retro.
What's good about Chernobyl then?
Well, I mean, it left an impact, didn't it?
What's good about Challenger?
Oh, right.
Jimmy, you twisted fucker.
Anyway, I forgot to mention this is from our Retro-Vember Part 1 episode.
Yes, sorry.
I loved video movies, 80s and 90s Netflix equivalent, kind of, I guess. Recording things off of the TV onto a VHS back in the day was kind of like a precursor to Netflix.
Yeah.
I think of it more of a cheap man's Blockbuster. Because, you know, if you paid your TV license, technically every movie you ever recorded was technically a rental.
Yeah.
Because you rented it from the TV that you paid in your license. I mean, in a roundabout way, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. Such great titles as Top Bum, Term 2 J-Day, Hunt for Octo, My Dad's Shorthand or Humor When Writing on Stickers. Yeah, my parents forever did that, because we had one of those ones where you could stretch a tape out and fit like 4 or 5 films onto a tape.
Long play.
On the little sticker on the spine, you had to abbreviate what films were. It was like T1, T2, Fly.
Yeah.
It was very like to the point.
Mum's tape, don't take it. Don't touch.
Dad's tape, don't touch. And then if you watch it on that one time when they go out in the last 30 minutes, is like some 70s porn.
Yeah.
Always guaranteed. One of those tapes would be labeled like do not record over Dad's tape. You'd put it in. It was nothing but porn. Smut. Poor schmut.
Be a 70s smut.
My lovely Jewish Paul Schmut. Right. Literally thought, don't mention the war, still use I know nothing at work.
I know nothing.
Okay.
Hold on, we better not do that. We'll get kicked off.
Yeah. Okay. Then again, I'm watching this. Love ya. I have now got a watch list increase. Heard of all of these, not watched them all. Well, let's get on it then, haven't you?
Yeah, got homework.
I have a drinking problem. This joke just continues to happen anytime I spill a drink. Noel's House Massacre. I love this idea. I hated Mr. Blobby. Do you know what? Right. I think I'm gonna have to try and do a Kickstarter or something and see if I can get this done. Like go to the BBC and say, look, you ain't done nothing with Noel's House Party for fucking decades, right? Can I please make a parody horror movie out of it, please? You know, we'll get lookalikes to play the parts. You know,
yeah, and Edmonds will just go, no.
Do you know what? I reckon he's got a sense of humor. I reckon he'd see the funny side of it. Especially if we paid him enough, he'd see the funny side of it.
You realize what you got to pay that greedy motherfucker?
Right.
Shit, I just called Edmonds a motherfucker.
This is
Shit.
Jimmy's choice for retro TV. Buck Rogers, A-Team, UFO, Thunderbirds, Highlander. Yes, I watched this before the film. Why? Why would you do? Why would you do that? Why would you watch Highlander before the TV show before the film? Great episode. Signing off. Yes, you better sign off before I come back. Anyway, moving on. We have a double header from the man, the myth, the beard, the ginger ninja Jake.
You fucking love a double header from Jim.
Oh, shut up. Shut the fuck up. No, I'm not taking the bait on this one.
Yeah.
Right. From our Halloween episode, JK says, catching up on my faves today now that I'm back. Hope you're both doing well. Very well, thank you. I'm blossoming, I'm blooming.
Jim, I will call you Jim. Great tell, Jake. Thank you. The fuck? I'm getting old, you know.
We do have a correction from JK because I said that I thought that Demons was by Lucio Fulci. I got that mixed up with the Zombie Flesh Eaters series. It says here, Demons was Lamberto Brava and Dario Argento. And again, it was one of those moments on, I think it was on a previous episode, you made a comment. And as soon as I read it on the comment, I went, yes, that was what I meant to say.
Bad Kelly.
You've done it again, JK. So thank you for correcting me on that one.
Bad Kelly.
Yes.
Get in your basket.
I know. I fucked up my, yeah. I loved Stargate and Arrow. Need to revisit Stargate myself, especially Atlantis. I didn't watch that one, so I may have to go back to the beginning of SG1 and work my way up to where that branches off.
Atlantis, JK, was that the one with Robert Carlyle in? Let me know.
Didn't watch it, didn't know. JK, let us know in the comments for next week.
Goody.
Yes. I carved a pumpkin once. Fun, but messy. Make of that what you will. Depends what you were carving it with.
Did you just carve one hole into it?
Yeah. Was it a very shocked-looking pumpkin? You know. Or at least it was shocked afterwards.
Pumpkin Glory Hole.
Oh, what, right?
There's a movie.
Curse of the Pumpkin Glory Hole.
You're here, folks.
Don't go in there. Why? You'll get squashed. Is it?
Would you like pie? Oh, go, blimey, I've got her again, folks.
It's my sore throat. I can't laugh too much.
Of course it is.
I was going to say, is that a spin-off from Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Revenge of the Pumpkin Glory Holes?
Yeah. Could be. Get it right.
Coming to cinemas in 2026 from Calico Productions.
Yeah, that's copyright Calico Productions. So
yes, that's going to be our first movie. You heard it here, folks. That's our first movie, Attack of the Killer Pump. Right, moving on with JK's comment. Hammer horror, so good. Absolute classic horror. And just a tad more enjoyable than the OG Universal monster movies. Bring on the hate. I kind of agree with you on that one, but to a certain extent, Hammer horror were the ones that I saw first, because much like I talk about with remakes nowadays, seeing those and then hearing my parents go, oh yeah, they're good, but the Universal ones were better. And I was like, wait, there's other versions. And it made me want to track them down and then watch them later. So personal preference, I will always lean more towards Hammer horror.
But yeah, I'll agree with that.
If I'm at someone's house and one of the Universal monster movies is put on, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to sit back and just enjoy the fucking ambience of it all. So, but yeah, I think the joy of waiting for the movies to come on TV was a form of delayed gratification. in little bunny ear things. As well as we had to wait, we had to rewind. We didn't have everything on demand. Yeah, me and Jimmy, because we're in a gaming group together and we talk most nights. We sort of talked about this recently, and it's like there is just that little bit of something lost with on-demand streaming services now, where we talked about this in the Halloween episode, just waiting for that thing to start and hit record and then rewind and watch it all over again. Yeah, there is just something lost with going, right, I've watched that now. Do you want to watch it again? Yeah, okay, start over. There's something lost about, all right, you hit rewind, I'll go pop the kettle on, you pop to the toilet. There's that little break where you could talk, while it's rewinding, you can talk about what happened in the film. Whereas you don't get that anymore. You know, so there's something, we've lost something with our enjoyment of media. Maybe we've gained some other stuff, the fact that there are such wide varieties of stuff out there to grab onto nowadays.
True, but we've also lost snotty video shop workers if you forgot to rewind.
Oh, yeah. You didn't rewind it, I'm charging you £1.
Hey, Tom.
I actually did know a video shop that if you hadn't rewound it, they would charge you £1 because they had to do it.
Oh, you fucking kiss my ass.
Yeah. Make sure it's rewound or you get charged. Yeah, it was sort of like their little motto. Make sure it's rewound or you get charged £1. It was like, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck you. Sometimes you forget.
But I suppose that was one thing in the bonuses of renting a DVD. You didn't have to rewind it. You just...
There you go. Take it back. Look off.
Although I must admit, when I did first start renting DVDs from Blockbuster, I would jokingly, as I was putting it through the slot when I was going into the store, rewound it for you.
Wow, I bet that got old.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Continuing onwards, VHS, I have the OG Dead Trilogy, and Now I Hate You. The OG Star Wars and Return of the Jedi classics, and will never get rid of them ever.
Yeah, but are they the version before the special editions?
Yes, because I've heard that there's a lot of... It's one of those things where the special edition is in quite a high demand on VHS. Like a lot of collectors are kind of after that, purely because of the box set where you've got the... I think Tony showed it on his channel where
you Vader.
Silver one, you put them together and it makes a complete picture. But there's even more of a demand and even more rarity of the original VHSs from like the late 80s when Return of the Jedi first come out. So if you've got any of those before it's been edited and altered, people will pay a pretty penny for those. So Tony, get off, have a look. It might be in your little Aladdin's cave you've got up there. But he says, great episode, on to the most recent one now. And that's where we're going straight away with yet again another comment from JK. We will get through these comments quickly, I swear to God. My apologies. Took the week off of YouTube for my birthday. Good to disconnect for a bit, but I'm back now. Yes, I did notice and I said happy birthday to you on Facebook. I did notice that that's why you were gone for a week. It was your birthday.
Yeah, fair dues.
What you been watching? I started a TV series called From, recommended by a friend, and damn bloody gory, interesting, worth it. I think I've added that to my Prime list already. It was one of those when you first load Prime up, it's like, here, look at this. I was like, okay, I like the look of that. So, you know. Retro movies. Where do I start? Soylent Green, The Black Hole, Scanners, Quatermass and the Pit. Yes, and also the Quatermass Experiment is very good as well. Double bill those two, I'd say.
Yeah.
Flying High, Police Academy, the first three at least, anyway. Anything after that?
Oh no, 4's not bad.
4 was the tipping point. 4 was the I'm done with the franchise at number 4.
Yeah. It's downhill from here, folks.
5, 6, and I think it was. Did they get up to number 7? Was it?
Yeah, they did so.
All of the up to the last one. Last one I can remember was Mission to Moscow, which made Cold War jokes way after the Cold War was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. The list goes on and on and on. Retro TV. Some started in the 90s, finished in the early 2000s, but mostly 80s and 90s. The A-Team, Airwolf, The Tripod, Earth 2, Earth Final Conflict, Kindred, The Embrace, The Pretender, Alien Nation, War of the Worlds, Jesus Christ, Flash, First Wave, Survivors, both versions. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., yes, with the man, the myth, the myth, the Chin, Bruce Campbell. I love that show. It started off as a sci-fi western, then slowly became just a more normal western. Space Above and Beyond. I've seen a few episodes of that, but don't really remember it. I remember the show title.
I remember the title. I've never seen it.
Millennium. I nearly picked that for tonight's choices. I was like, nearly picked it, but because it was sort of our general rule for this was it started around 2000, and because Millennium was obviously set around the turn of the millennium, I was like, maybe it's an honorable mention, but you've just pulled it up there, so there we go, honorable mention.
Hey.
Sliders, another one that I nearly picked.
Nice.
Another one that I nearly picked because it starred my man Jerry O'Donnell.
Well, calm down.
I'm sorry, Joe's Apartment, right? He was in that film. Jerry O'Connell, he was in that film about singing cockroaches. And I was mesmerized.
Blimey, you must have creamed yourself when he appeared on The Big Bang.
Looking older and hotter. Hell yeah. I was like, Sheldon, do you want a new sister-in-law?
Yeah.
7 Days and Lex. Yes, Lex. That was always on Channel 5 at like 3 in the fucking morning. And I stayed up every Friday to watch that show. Basically about, it was a show about a ship that was like a giant dragonfly. There was a woman who was part lizard in it. It's on Prime. And I think, is it on Prime? I think it's either on Prime or Netflix. Check it out. But yeah.
You're not selling it very well, too.
Craig Charles popped up in a cameo in it. Give it a try. Honestly, give the first season a try. And if you don't like it, I understand. But I will say the budget, it makes OG Star Trek look high tech.
Wow.
Yeah, but the story's good. It's one of those shows where you have to kind of forgive the production values because it's got a good story.
Yeah.
But right. Retro TV. Yes, continuing on with that. No. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Great episode there. Done. Yeah. So that's it. Done with the shout outs. And that only took us less than half an hour, which is good.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the wonderful, lovely comments. Keep them coming. So, Guy, continuing this Retro-Vember train a rolling, where are we heading to next?
We're going to watch it. Give you a chance there, did I?
Would you like to go first or shall I go first?
Either or. Let's see. You're going for Supernatural.
No, actually.
You finished.
Once I finished it up, it feels weird now not saying what you've been watching this week. Well, it's Supernatural. Well, actually, no. I've not started a rewatch of it. I want to. I want to start a rewatch so badly because I loved the journey of it. But it's a bit too soon.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, I need to watch some other stuff, which is what I have been doing. So this week I started watching for the first time. I didn't catch it when it was first on. Is Two Broke Girls. Guys looking a blank on that one.
I've heard of it. I don't really know.
It's about two girls working in a diner in New York, I think it is.
Oh yeah, cool.
One of them is sort of a streetwise, savvy, been around kind of girl, played
Mm.
wonderfully by Kat Dennings.
Oh, I've heard of her.
She's been in Thor,
Yeah,
played Natalie Portman's mate,
yeah.
and she was in 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell.
Yes.
Yes. And the other actress, I can't remember her name, but she's the stereotypical heiress, lost their money, father was involved in a Ponzi scheme, flat broke, and
Right.
they decided to start a cupcake business together.
Hmm.
And the cool little thing that it does is at the end of each episode, because they've got this goal, they need to save up this much money to start the business properly. And at the end of each episode, it shows you the total, sort of bounces up and down depending on what's happened in the episode.
Yeah.
And it's very crude humor, I will say that. Character of Max, played by Kat Dennings, is fucking sarcastic as fuck. And I'm just sat there watching it going, yeah, I've said that before. I've said that on multiple occasions. That's a new one. I'm going to borrow that one. So, yeah, it's worth a watch if you've never seen it.
Oh, I'll check it out.
I also started a rewatch of Arrow.
Good.
Yes. I put it on the other night, but unfortunately, due to, just life being life, I fell asleep about halfway through the second episode. And Prime kept rolling through until it got to like episode 8. So I had to backtrack to the start of episode 2 and watch from there again. But watching it this afternoon, I've now got up to episode 4. And like you said last week, there are certain bits where I was like, I thought that happened later.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that specific storyline and beat coming up much later in the series. Or is it just because I watched it on a week-to-week basis? It felt like it
Could be. Yeah, could be.
Like I said last week, the first time I watched Arrow was the first time I watched Arrow.
Same, yeah.
The last time I watched it was the first time I watched it when it was being originally broadcast. So maybe it's just that sense of time, like, oh, when you think about it, for me, it was like 8 or 9 weeks. For them, it was 8 episodes.
Yeah.
It's different when you compress that time down into, you can watch it back to back.
Yeah.
But anyway, and other than that, I decided to kind of not torture myself, more sort of push myself with a film. I vaguely have hazy memories of seeing the original version, but I had not watched the remake. And because I'm on this give more remakes more of a chance kind of kick, I was like, okay, it keeps popping up on my Prime as a suggested horror film. So I'm going to give it a watch.
What is it?
I watched the remake of I Spit on Your Grave. Now, obviously, due to certain things with on YouTube, their algorithms and restrictions, things like that, I cannot talk too much about this film.
No.
But what I will say is, once you get past the initial of it, the attack scene, I will just call it that, the attack scene. Once you get past that and to the bit where the character, comes back after being missing for a month, starts taking their revenge, I actually found myself sat there smiling and being happy watching the demise of these characters.
Yeah.
And again, can't go too much into detail on it, but the actors and the actress involved, I swear, they should have got fucking Oscars for their performances, because it was so believably brutal and horrible and nasty. It takes a lot to shock me in a film. Right, I have seen a lot of stuff in a lot of films. I've been a horror fan since I was like 7 years old. I've seen a lot of shit in 33 fucking years. I've seen a lot of stuff in films, and it was that part in that film. I was just like, I don't know if I can keep watching this. I wanted to turn it off. I felt physically ill. And then it got to, like I said, the revenge part of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's justified. Oh, yeah. So I can recommend it, but
You can't talk about it.
viewer discretion. It
Mm.
is a hard what I said this to Jimmy a couple of weeks ago in the Star Trek episode when he was trying to say that Star Trek the motion picture is a hard watch. No. I Spit on Your Grave, the original and the remake are hard watch. You have to have a
Yeah, Star Trek is just boring.
yeah.
Not hard.
Watching I Spit on Your Grave, it was hard fucking watch. But when I finally got to the end of it and it was all done and they'd all been brutalized by her for what they'd done to her, it was just like,
yeah,
she fucking earned that. And it was it's really weird. Like at the beginning part of the film, it feels like it's a very exploitative film. But by the end of it, it feels almost like it's quite empowering. Like, don't fuck with people because you never know. This could... But yeah, I watched it. There are sequels to the remake. There's a second and third one. I've heard the quality kind of falls off a cliff after the second one.
of course.
The completionist in me is like, I probably should watch the second and third one just to say I've watched that trilogy and I don't need to go back and watch it again because as much as I say enjoyed, as much as I could appreciate the remake, I don't think I'll be watching it again.
Yeah.
At least not alone because it unnerved me. Is all I'm going to say. But anyway, that is what I've been watching this week. Over to you, Guy. Have fun.
Right. Arrow. There we go. We've talked about Arrow, so we're not going to talk any more about Arrow because I've watched it too. I've also been watching YouTube. Been having to use that old YouTube to learn songs for a set list for another band that I'm going to be helping out.
Oh.
But, I'm not saying what because it's shush at the minute.
I was going to say it's when it's early days. Never mention a
secret project. Oh no, secret projects.
Yeah, and when you talk about stuff in the when it's early planning,
it's on my fingers.
It's guaranteed to fuck it up more.
Yeah. So yeah. But if all goes good, it should be very fun.
Good. I
So
hope that goes well then.
A lot of learning.
Yeah.
So, right, let's get into meat of the damn episode because we're running long.
Well, our cut-off point is 10 o'clock. We got about an hour, so as long as we don't go over too much, we should be fine. Take my glasses off because I'm sick of getting the glare on the fucking screen.
Yes. Right then. Who wants? So it's Retro-Vember, folks. We're onto the TV shows as usual. The rule of five applies.
Yeah.
Plus a couple of honorable mentions. So who wants to go first? You can.
I will go first. I will go with my, I say more recent pick. It ran just past the 2000s, the original run of it anyway. It's come back several times.
You know the rules.
Started in 1993 and it ran until 2002, so it had 9 seasons.
All right, then, go on. I forgive you.
Yeah, it that's what I mean. It was sort of early 90s it started, but it ran through to the 2000s. So it's kind of, this one for me was like, do I include this? It's early enough in the 90s, but I went with it anyway. And that is, of course, The X-Files.
That's enough music. We'll get told.
Yeah, we'll get copy. Yeah, we'll strike. Yeah. But yes, starring Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny as agents Mulder and Scully. Songs about them and all sorts.
There is.
Yeah, that's how much of a pop culture bang
X-Files
was. It just sort of popped up and there were songs about them. Even the theme tune got kind of remixed and put in dance clubs and all sorts of stuff. It was like, okay then. So it had a big impact. I remember watching it when it first came out on Sky TV, on Sky One.
Mm.
Um, I I was what 9 years old when it first started. And
Wow.
it kind of hit that sweet spot for me because I was watching things like Unsolved Mysteries, honorable mention there for me. At that time, hosted by the wonderful Robert Stack, who, you know, for me is always going to be Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the episodes, they were creepy, they were weird, they sort of played on folklore and tried to give it a rational explanation and things
Yeah.
like that. It went to some really kind of dark and creepy places, especially that one episode that got banned for like 10 years, I think it was.
Mm.
The one with the mother under the bed.
Mm.
That did not get re-aired when
No.
the show was rerun for about 10, 15 years, I think.
It's all right. Keep talking.
Okie dokie, but yeah, X-Files. Like I said, ran from 93 to 2000. Absolutely stunning show. Had, I think, 2 movies and another series that happened. So
Sorry.
that's my first pick for my retro TV. Guy, what did you think of the X-Files?
Oh, bloody loved it, didn't I? Of course I did. Gillian Anderson.
Yes, there were a lot of posters of her around. I do.
But she's another one that's got better with age.
Yes, and as Tony mentioned on his video yesterday, been in a lot more things than just the X-Files.
Oh yeah. She's in Hannibal.
Yeah, she was in a film with Danny Dyer, a horror film. So
yeah, she's turned up with loads of stuff.
yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Can't say the same for David Duchovny, but oh, well, never mind.
You know what, right? There's 2 things I remember that guy from. Well, 2 TV shows I can remember him from, and one film. The film I can remember him from is Evolution, which, if you've ever seen that film,
Yep.
it's worth a watch. It's funny.
Oh, okay.
Just for the tuki tuki kaka kaka in the shopping mall.
All right, I'll take you with that.
Yes. And the what flavor ice cream you want? I don't care. It's for my ass. I'll let that scene explain itself. You have to watch the film to explain that scene.
Fair enough.
You'll love it. But yeah, the only other TV show I can remember him from is having access to Sky TV and the Bravo channel, and my parents not giving a fuck what time I went to bed and what I watched on TV. I remember watching the Red Shoe Diaries. Softcore porn for terrestrial TV. I mean, come on. But I suppose that's a double header. David Duchovny, double bill, The X-Files and Red Shoe Diaries.
Double header again.
Hey.
You'd like a double header.
Well, I mean...
Again. We're going to bring that one back.
Anyway.
JK on standby.
Moving on. Guy, your first pick.
Right, my first pick. We're going to go back to 1978. Oh, my life. That's when it fucking started. And it finished in 2008. 30 fucking years. It's Grange Hill, bitches.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Deep cut reference. Did not expect that one. Yes. I think so many actors passed through those halls that went on to other TV shows. Some of them even went into films.
Roland.
It's one of those things that I think there's about 3 or 4 generations of kids that grew up watching different generations of kids in the Grange Hill TV show.
Yeah.
You know, like my brother.
I didn't realise. I didn't realise it was 30 years. I didn't realise it went for 30 years.
Oh, neither did I. I thought it finished early 2000s. Like, you know, like, well, even then I thought it was like maybe like 99, 2000. I didn't think it survived the millennium. But yeah, I remember watching that growing up. You know, I remember them dealing with a lot.
They dealt with all sorts.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to get to. The one big storyline I can remember watching when it was sort of my generation of like the kids at the school were my kind of age, is the teen pregnancy storyline that they did.
Yeah.
And I think that's as much as they say that soap operas for grown-ups tackle issues that grown-ups might encounter in life. Grange Hill was like that for, I'd say, 12 to sort of 16-year-olds, that high school age, for here in Britain especially. And it dealt with a lot of the problems that you would face.
Oh my God.
Pregnancy, drug addiction, you name it.
Bullying, fucking racism, alcoholism, fucking death.
Yeah, suicide was another one that they
terminal fucking illnesses.
Yeah, it tackled everything, and I think that's probably why it ran as long as it did, because it was not afraid to tackle those issues that kids, especially because obviously it was set in the UK, the kids here in the UK were probably facing around the different time periods that it passed through. It tackled those subjects that kids were dealing with. That not every kid, but there were kids that were watching it. They'd be like, "Shit, that's like me.
Yeah,
I've been through that. That's me right now."
Because the creator of it, Phil Redmond, was just not afraid to sort of go there. But he also created Brookside and Hollyoaks, which have all had quite controversial storylines. So.
Oh yeah. Hollyoaks, I have such issues with that show. Oh,
well, last time I watched Hollyoaks, Will Mellor was in it. So
Jesus, that's a long time ago. That I've not watched it in about 15 years.
Yeah, the Adjudicator used to watch it when we first got together. But we cured that.
My big problem with that show was they'd bring up a storyline and then not mention it for 6 months, and then all of a sudden they're back to it. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that happening.
Vaguely.
They've only just remembered that happening as well. Anyway, moving on.
But
fantastic fucking
Grange Hill, tip of the hat. Just say no, kids.
I was not expecting that pick from you. Very well done. Very, very, very well done.
Yeah. Good game. You got a pick there.
Shit, I need the salt and iron. I'm getting possessed by Brucey again. Right, my next pick?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Gonna jump back to we'll go back to the 70s for this pick.
Marvelous.
1973 to 1978. The catchphrase that was running up and down the country was, "Oh, Betty." Some mothers do have them with fucking Frank Spencer.
That's enough.
Well-meaning but badly looked person in the fucking UK. No matter what he did, it went tits up. And the thing is, he was always just trying to get by, trying to do his best, but somehow bumbling it up. And there was just something about the perseverance of the guy, like that unbreakable spirit of him always being so happy-go-lucky, and the camp little voice and the beret and even now you can watch those episodes and still have a fucking laugh, because it's just transcends the generational gap. I grew up watching things like this on UK Gold. I didn't catch it the first time around. I ain't that old. I'm not Tony old. I'm not Guy old.
Watch it.
But yeah, I grew up watching stuff like this because my parents watched the reruns of it. So I grew up watching this kind of stuff. And to me, it's just, as soon as I watch it, as soon as I hear that theme tune, I'm back in the blood, and I'm like, look at him, he's being funny.
Michael Crawford did all his own stunts. Yes,
he did. And I think, in a weird way, sort of a slight precursor to the likes of Rowan Atkinson's Mr. Bean. Like, Mr. Bean is basically Frank Spencer without the talking.
Yeah.
in my opinion, like the way Mr. Bean fucks things up, but somehow manages to get through at the end. It's very Frank Spencer. Just saying. Maybe it's conspiracy. Put my tinfoil hat on. One influence the other.
I have trivia. Because it's me. I have trivia. Michelle Dottris, who played Betty, went on to marry Edward Woodward. So there you go. After they met on an episode of The Equalizer.
Yes, and Edward Woodward, who we mentioned last week as Iwawiwa. Yeah, so that was my second pick. Some mothers do have a nice little bit of retro British sitcom TV.
Nice. Yeah, perfect.
Well, there we go. Guy, your next choice then, honey.
My next choice. Right. Forward a couple of years. We're going to 1980, folks. Because we need a bit of sci-fi, children's games. It's the adventure game.
Oh, Jesus. That is a deep...
Now I will test you.
Right. That's right back here somewhere.
Damn.
Just
like Khan, I will test you.
Don't. I've not seen it since I was like this big.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Come on.
So, we're on a planet called Arg. And what you have to do is a team of 2 people from the public and 1 celebrity have to go through a series of puzzles and solve those, and physical games and solve those. Sounding familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But it had Moira Stewart on it. A young Moira Stewart who was actually surprisingly fine, actually. Marks out of 2. I'll give you 1. Call me Moira.
Do you know what, right? You just sparked a memory tangent here, people. I can't remember the comedian, right? But there was this old joke I heard from a comedian. He says, do you know what the bad thing is about watching these old horror movies where they got the blondes with the big boobs and the tight corsets and you're there cranking one off? It's not until you realise that you just crack one off to Pauline Fowler.
Yeah.
It's like...
Olive from On the Buses. He did a few.
Anyway, back to the point.
But yeah, so in a very much a sort of proto Crystal Maze, we had the adventure game, and it was a ton of fun. You had, the Vortex game at the end, using very early VFX.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's reminding me very much. Maybe this was like a spiritual successor, maybe, but it reminds me very much of sort of I think it was early to mid 90s Nightmare.
Zip it.
I've lost my crayons. Oh wait, no, you said zip it, not zippy. Sorry.
Zip it about that. Just spoiler.
I'm getting my twanger out. Shut up.
Yeah. Anyway, this one from 1980 to 1986. It was a ton of fun, and very homespun, but in a kind of Dungeons and Dragons meets fucking Hitchhiker's Guide. It's really cool. So it's you can check it out on YouTube. Have a look.
I will. I think I will. Because I said
It'll bring you back some memories.
I don't really remember it. I think it's one of those shows that probably my sister or brother probably watched because there's varying age gaps between.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's something my brother probably would have watched at that kind of age. So I probably know it by proxy.
But yeah, if the contestants wanted to get home to Earth, they had to just go through, work out the puzzles, and win the game.
Yes.
Over to you.
On to my next choice then. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to 1966 to 1968. a certain Caped Crusader made his television debut with Adam West and Fred Ward in
Burt Ward.
Burt Ward, not Fred Ward. That's Tremor.
Fred Ward was in the Wonder Years.
Yeah, there's another Ward that's in the Tremors films. It confuses me. Anyway, Batman with Adam West. There you go. That's my pick for not my most retro-y show on here, but one of my favorite old-timey shows. Batman. But yeah, it's definitely one of those shows that has kind of stood the test of time, and I think it's more because it was so family friendly and so camp and cheesy that you could not help but fall in love with it, no matter how old you were. Like, if you were a kid, you watched it for the bright colors and the action. If you're a grown up, you're watching it for the daft one-liners and jokes. You know, like the Batman pulls out his bat shark repellent, or the infamous meme now where he's running around. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. You know, and the Bat-2C. You know, it's been memed to all hell, but that's the cultural impact that show has had. It's the
Gotcha.
And even now, McFarlane Toys are making action figures of that TV show. There's a comic book continuation of that TV show.
Yeah.
So
He's the bright knight, damn it.
yes, you know what I mean? The camp night, why not? Or is that more? Oh, all right, Jack.
Oh, don't. Cesar Romero Joker was one of the best jokers.
Fucking wasn't he?
Good old fucking Cesar. I'm not shaving my mustache off.
I was going to say the pure funniness of they didn't even try to hide it. Like, they do extreme close-ups on him, and you could see under his makeup. You could just
the Caesar stash.
Yeah, you just see it just hanging out there. Like, there was no hiding that motherfucking.
Fuck you! I'm not shaving. Woo-hoo.
Probably how he got into character in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Are we going to renegotiate the mustache? No, fuck you. No shaving. But yeah, I would have loved to have been on set when he was in full makeup and everything.
I think he was so funny because even when he got down to the fighting, Caesar would jump in there, but he'd just do it so camply. It was fucking hilarious.
Yep. So that was my pick. Batman.
Kapow.
Zoink.
And one day there was wank.
Yes, famously Captain America's shield when it used to hit people in the 40s comics. He used to wank them to death, apparently. Captain America just wanked me with his shield. What?
Yeah. All right, cancel him for this one. Off you go.
You can't say that in England. It means something different. In America, you can get away with it, but over here, if a child... That's the thing, right? Back then, right, Marvel Comics, if they'd made their way to the UK, could you imagine a small boy going up to his dad and going, "Hey, Dad, look at this. Captain America just wanked Hitler in the face." What?
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's one way to stop him, get jizz in his eye.
Oh, that's impressive. He's only got one ball.
I can see you jizz in my eye.
Sorry. My fault, folks. Sorry. So you calm down now. You're laughing at Hitler with jizz in his eye then.
It doesn't help that I'm sat here wearing red and black. I mean...
Yeah, we do, well, you know.
Anyway. Right, moving swiftly on. Your next pick, guy, because that was Batman 66 for me.
Right. Well, we'll have to go forward a few years from there. So 1985, folks. It's time for some animation because we're all kids at heart. Thundercats. Say it.
Hello.
There you go. Wow, fucking hell, delay.
Oh.
Can we type that up in the edit, please?
I thought Retro Cartoons was next week.
It's a TV show. Fine. Okay.
I'll let you have this one.
Dr. Pedanto.
But next week, I'll let you off just this once.
Oh, will you now?
Yeah, I will.
All right. All right.
Don't get
Oh,
Violet started. She's just off camera.
yeah. So I've got my pineapple repellent spray. Okay.
So she switched it up now.
No.
Just kiwis.
Kiwis.
Well, yeah, they're furry. A bit more of a texture on the inside. Like, oh,
Yeah, but they're not going to hurt.
you don't know whether you don't know whether it's if it's uncomfortable or comfortable. It's kind of.
I could take a kiwi up the ass.
You were about to say pineapple then.
I was, wasn't I? I'd take a kiwi up the ass.
Anyway.
Yes, it's my fault, folks.
Go
I
on,
do it. So, I'll tell you what. I'm going to what Thundercats out, right? Thundercats is out.
I'll let you have it.
No, I'm going to put one of my fucking honorable mentions in instead.
Okay then.
Adrian fucking Mole and his secret diary and his growing pains.
Yeah. Do you know what? Right. I missed the show. I read the books when I was in school, and then I saw the later TV series that they did, where he was all grown up. I did watch the later TV series, not the original one, but I read all the books.
Years.
Yes, I read all the early books. They were fucking brilliant.
You should carry on with the later books. He ages with us.
Yeah.
And some will get very poignant, but also very still hilarious.
I think I may have to go and check some because obviously I only read up to a certain point.
Yeah.
But I will try and track down some of the other ones and see if I can give them a read online or something because I did enjoy the books. I mean, the TV show version that I watched was adapted from I think 2 of the books. I think.
Yeah, it was the Cappuccino years, and I think it was just Cappuccino years actually.
I'm not sure, but again, long time.
Anyway, we digress. So, yes, Adrian Mole, back in the day, fucking brilliant program based on the books of wonderful, wonderful 2000. Fabulous fucking author.
Mm-hmm.
One of the voices of my childhood. And, these were brilliantly shot, brilliantly acted programs with some of the cream of this bloody country's acting crop. Well, not so much Jansen Marco. I mean, he was brilliant, but no one had heard of him. But Judy Walters, folks. Fucking Judy Walters.
National fucking treasure at this point, I think. Find.
And in the Growing Pain series, Judy Walters didn't want to do it, so Lulu was drafted in. And she was surprisingly good.
Okay.
But no, these are hard to track down. If you get the chance, find them, watch them. I think they might be on YouTube, maybe.
It's worth a search at the very least.
But yes, young Adrian Mole grows up in the middle of England and is an intellectual, or so he thinks, surrounded by plebs. And these the musings of his diary and his various daily goings on, and obviously lots of accidents happen and faux pas and social awkwardness. It's just brilliant, folks. Yeah. If you get a chance.
All part
I'm sure all of you have read at least a couple of books.
Oh yeah.
So if you can dig out the series, have a go, because it's great. It's a lovely slice of just Middle England in the 80s.
Yes. Which there should be more shows kind of nowadays set in that time period, sort of that nostalgic look back.
Yeah.
Don't rose color that fucking lens. No, show the hard reality.
Yeah, because it was a lot of the 80s was
nice. Some of it was nice, but there's a lot of it that wasn't.
Yeah, a lot of it was strikes and ultra violence, fucking shit. Mass unemployment.
Seeing as Tony talked about it, quadrophenia. The mods and rocker riots and stuff like that.
That was more
60s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Still. Anyway, continuing.
Anyway, yeah. So I take it you didn't watch it because you're probably too young. You're young.
Like I said, I missed the younger years. It was the later series that I caught. So, but yeah, from what I watched of that, it was him and his 2 sons. And I enjoyed it for what it was. It was him in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
Trying to go through life, and it's like you said, it does kind of hold up a lens and a mirror almost to what it's like to be the average person in the fucking UK. You know, it's what it is.
Yeah, you're trying to eke out.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Mine,
So, yes. Next, you go.
well, from 1977 to 1979, The Amazing Spider-Man, for some reason, was wall crawling around California, standing in for New York.
Yes.
They don't look much alike. But for its cheesy campiness, kind of right there along with Batman of 10 years before it, it knew what it was. It was a comic book. It was a guy in his pajamas and a mask throwing a big net over people. And that's what the web was in that show. It wasn't it was a hand out like that, and this thing would swing, and a big net would launch out at people, but then slowly flutter down and encase them. It wasn't like a got them. It was, oh no, help, we're trapped. It was cheesy as all fucking hell, but it, again, much like Batman, with it being that first real adaptation of that comic book character that we saw in live action, it's kind of a milestone. Like up to that point, I think we'd only had did we have the cartoon before the live action show?
Yes, there was a cartoon from the 60s.
Exactly. And there was a Batman cartoon, I do believe, as well.
Yeah, there was also live action.
Yeah, exactly. See, so
Pre-Adam West.
Yeah, see, so there's that little moment of that's the first time we saw them in live action. So it kind of stands on its own for that reason. It's difficult to watch now because the acting is so bad. It's literally just Spider-Man sort of creeping around like this.
Yeah, he's on a creep pet.
Yeah, you know, when you see him wall crawling, it's like he's up one floor, he's up two, he's on the roof.
Yeah.
Huh? You know, that's why I always say, like, a character like Spider-Man would not work in the United Kingdom. There's not big enough buildings for him to swing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he just goes flat all the
time. He'd be waiting for a bus man if he lived in the UK. I digress. But yeah, that was my pick, Spider-Man. For its, like Batman, for its cheesy campiness, that's why I chose it. It's good to just look back and go, we've come so far. Awful beginnings of this bit of tripe, this bit of cheesy crap.
Yeah.
The Tom Holland stuff that we're getting nowadays. Come a long way.
We have.
Good to look back at where you came from so you know where the fuck you're going.
Too right.
This is a philosophical quote brought to you by. Anyway, that was my second to last pick. So let's move on to our second to last pick, guy.
Right. I'm stuck in the fucking 80s today, folks. I really am. But it's time for me to gentle comedy. About divorce and the trauma that comes with it. It's Dear John, folks.
God, I have not heard that mentioned in a long time.
I decided tonight I am going for the deep cuts.
Yes, that is a very deep cut one. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's one of those ones I've heard about, never actually watched it.
Fantastic piece of comedy. Just brilliantly written. It lasted 2 seasons and 1 special.
Oh.
It has some great actors in it. The amazing Ralph Bates in the starring role as John. Obviously, John comes home one day. He's a teacher, middle class, suburban kind of dude. Comes home to a note. His wife is divorcing him.
Damn.
He has to get out of the house, although he still has to pay the mortgage. And find his own lodgings as well, pay for that on a teacher's salary. So he decides to join a singles club because that's what they used to have back then.
Yes.
These things called encounter groups.
Nowadays we just call it dogging.
Yeah. But yeah, so he joins the singles club, and again, lots of social awkwardness comedy. Very good. It's so well written, so well performed by Ralph Bates and the likes of Peter Blake and oh blimey, I forgot the rest of the cast name, unfortunately, but they were
They're
brilliant.
not memorable.
No, fuck off you. Um, People are if I mention this, Tony will be listening to going, oh, I remember that. So yeah, our older generation will all recognize what my choices tonight.
Good.
Older listeners and viewers.
Yes, yes.
But if
No,
you get
advance.
the chance, do take a look at it because it's very
I think
brilliantly
I
performed. It's
have to.
very clever.
I think I may have to. Like I said, I've heard about it, but never
Mm.
actually sat and watched
It's
it.
got
So.
some really fucking great waspish comedy in it.
Ah,
So
check it out. I have to check
check it out, folks.
it. Sorry.
Your last pick.
My last pick, I saved the best for last.
We'll see.
Need to have a drink because my throat is getting scratchy. This for me is my personal favorite pick of the night because it's been around the longest out of my picks. It's had a film adaptation,
Ooh.
80s adaptation, an early 2000s adaptation, and a 2019 adaptation. This is the franchise that just keeps coming back for more. Created in 1959, running till 1964, starring in a few episodes a pre-Star Trek George Takei, William Shatner, and a couple of others.
Fuck.
Created by the man himself, Rod Sterling. I am talking, of course, The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
This, for me, it cannot be understated just how much of an impact The Twilight Zone has had, not just on science fiction, but just pop culture in general.
Yeah.
It has been parodied by movies, TV shows. The Simpsons have done Treehouse of Horror episodes about it. Multiple episodes, actually, from The Twilight Zone. You know, it's just one of those shows that even now you can go back and watch those original episodes from the very first season, and they're beautifully shot for a TV show. Bear that in mind, a TV show in the late 50s, beautifully shot, wonderfully written, cast of characters and actors that passed through that show. Burgess Meredith played multiple roles in it and had some incredibly outstanding episodes, including Time Enough at Last, which is one of the more famous episodes, as he's the guy who sort of goes through a time warp and ends up in the future where everything's been bombed and destroyed. All he wants to do is read a book. And then right at the end of it, his glasses are broken. He's got all the time in the world to do whatever he wanted. The one thing he wanted to do, he can't do.
Yeah.
Like, it subverts expectations. Some of the twists you can see coming at the end of the episode,
yeah,
just for their time period, beautifully written. Some of them, and I only know this from watching stuff on YouTube quite recently about them, is there are some episodes that were so racially charged at the time that nowadays, looking back on them, it's like, you couldn't do that now.
Yeah.
Well, as well-intentioned as the episode is trying to put it across, you couldn't do that today. But if you've watched any incarnation of the Twilight Zone, whether it's the original, the 80s, the early 2000s, or the more recent stuff, there are episodes in there that do kind of get you thinking.
The one that always stuck out to me was one of the 80s ones where there's a woman who ends up in prison. And there's a brother saying, I'll get you out, I'll get you out. And he's like the prison carpenter. And he's building coffins.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, you get in a coffin. And then I'll get you out. Oh, once you've been buried, I'll just dig you out. Oh, okay, cool. So cuts to her in the coffin. She's got a little lighter. Who's in the coffin with her? That's the fucking carpenter. And that's it. She's buried alive. That's shot his piece
Yeah.
of ground, and you could just hear screams from
Yes, I
underground.
do remember that one. I do remember that one. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
Twilight Zone for me, just the impact it's had, like I said, on pop culture in general, just
Mm.
across the board. And you've got there are some episodes that it's like, I know what that inspired. Famously, the one that James Cameron had a lawsuit with over Terminator because it was very similar to an episode of The Twilight Zone. But ironically, that episode in itself was subject to a lawsuit because
Oh, sorry, folks.
another writer claimed that Rod Sterling had basically ripped off an idea that he'd given him. So, yeah, there was a lot of legality with that storyline, like surrounding it on both sides. Like, apparently it was stolen from this person, and then James Cameron stole it to make Terminator. And it's like, no, it's just similar people having similar ideas, you know?
Yeah.
But that leads back onto my previous couple of episodes with when we did Is Originality a Myth? And one thing I didn't talk about on that is I like to think that originality is kind of a myth, but inspiration is not, because you can see that in things like that, there are clear little inspirational details that 20, 30 years later became something else by somebody else because they watched that growing up. So, but anyway,
Yep.
my final pick, Twilight Zone.
Nice. Time for my final bit.
It is, yes.
Right. So you mentioned it earlier. So I can't big it up, can I? So it's Nightmare, folks.
You could have just included that with the.
Thanks for the spoiler.
I'm sorry. It's just as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, this sounds like Nightmare. I remember watching Nightmare.
So yes.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'll hide my.
So so basically, Nightmare was a game based on a show based on Dungeons and Dragons. It's pretty much a rip-off.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
it was notable. It was notable for its use of blue screen technology and Kodachrome.
Yes, yes,
It was used on the weather forecast at the time.
yes, yes, and it used a lot of early CG as well, especially towards the end of its run. A lot more of the puzzles they went through became more computer generated image background.
Right. For those of you who don't know, even though this program is called Geek Show, right. So Nightmare ran from 1987 to 1994, and it was heavily based on Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh
You
yeah,
had a team of 4 people in the Dungeon Master's quarters. The Honourable Treguard, played by Hugo Myatt, and you had one Dungeoneer who would go around going, "Where am I?" And then they'd have to describe it because he had the helmet on, he couldn't see.
yes, that big ass helmet with the big stupid horns on it, and it's like getting a kid to walk around, they can't see what they're doing on that. That's a health and safety risk. You couldn't do that now.
Yeah, because they could see their feet.
Yeah.
That's it. So it was all this sort of kind of go forward for 1 pace, sidestep left 4 paces, and stuff like that. And again, solve puzzles.
It very
spells.
It very much reminded me of like the live action version of the video game Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
Let's say computer animated one, the one that had like the animated stuff and you had to click the lights at the right time. It's really famous one. The animation was done by Don Bluth, that one.
Yeah. But no, it was quite groundbreaking for a children's.
Oh yeah.
show.
Time, yeah. Definitely.
And actually did make a return. YouTube commissioned an episode of it back out. I think it was 2013, maybe.
Yeah, wasn't that for like an anniversary or something?
Yeah.
I think it was its 20th anniversary, wasn't it?
Something like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. So yeah.
So yeah, no, this is one of those things you can pick up episodes on YouTube. So I do recommend you do that because you'll probably get a kick out of the that was sort of homespun sort of acting side of it compared to the early sort of tech version of what they were using for effects.
Yes, yes.
And if you're a Dungeons and Dragons geek, they all the better.
You never know, you might get some ideas for some campaigns if you're a dungeon master yourself.
And there you go.
Yes, I do remember watching that show and I remember running home from school to watch it some days. So yeah. Because it went on, from what I remember, it started with a fresh team at the start of the week, didn't it? And then each day it would follow their progress as far as they got. And the idea was to get as far as you could. I think only
you had to do 3 levels.
and I think in the whole time only like 3 or 4 people ever won the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was very hard, very, very hard.
Fuck about that.
Oh fuck no.
Well, if you wanted, you had to, say. So there you go. That's my picks.
There we go then. That's our 5 picks for retro TV shows. Any honorable mentions, Guy?
Yes, I did have an honorable mention, not to go into the main thing, someone being picky. Well, I do have a Doctor Who story. Because it's me and I bloody love the Doctor.
Of course.
So going back to the 70s, of course, with Tony's dad in Doctor Who, Day of the Daleks.
Day of the Daleks, yeah.
Which is notable for several things. The plot involves people bollocking each other and the Doctor getting drunk on wine.
Sounds like an average Friday night round Burton.
Yes. And
drunken.
but yeah, there's all the way through. People are just bollocking each other all the way through. The Doctor's bollocking people. The Brigadier's bollocking people because yes, units are involved and it's very homespun, home counties army. And then you've got politicians bollocking the Brigadier. It's all sorts of fun.
Wow.
It's just now see here, Doctor. See here, Sir Reginald. All the way through, and the Doctor keeps getting pissed on wine.
Why not? Why not?
It's notable for the first time the Daleks were ever seen in colour.
Oh, yes.
It's also notable for having an influence on a certain X-Men Days of Future Past. Because there's a lot of temporal goings about.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Yes, there's lots of paradoxes and such like. So, yeah. Do check it out. There is
I will. I think I will.
a special edition version. Jesus.
There's a special edition of Hendrix right there.
Yeah, there's a special edition version with all the effects all done up and bells and whistles.
Oh, okay. That one I may check out.
Yeah. You'd have to buy that on DVD because you don't have the iPlayer.
I know. I don't mind.
But yeah, it's a great one to check out, folks, if you want a bit of 70s Who.
Oh, of course. Classic 70s Who. And for me, honorable mention, because in all honesty, I thought you'd probably pick one of these. I'm going to throw out sort of a 80s double bill, A-Team and Airwolf.
That's because I already mentioned them last time we had a troll through the 80s.
I know. But they're my honorable mentions because they're that good. They're that good. They're worth checking out. Yeah. And I did see slight tangent here because someone in a Transformers group put up a picture. They just bought the Knight Rider Transformer and the Back to the Future one. And someone in the comments straight away was like, they need to do an Airwolf one. I was like, yes, they need to do an Airwolf Transformer.
Yes, they do.
They don't even need to change the name of it. You know, it's just boom, right there, Airwolf. You know, helicopter transformer in black.
Yeah.
You don't fucking say more. But that's my honorable mentions anyway.
Excellent. Well, that all about wrap it up for us for tonight,
that's it for tonight's episode.
So we will continue Retro-Vember next week with the cartoon.
Yes, retro cartoons. You can go back as far as you like, all the way back to the first Mickey Mouse cartoon with Steamboat Willie, all the way up to anything that's before the year 2000.
That's the rules, folks. Rule of 5 applies.
Rule of 5. Drop it.
So drop them down there. Give us your cartoons, and we will mosey on down the road. I have been the random man, Mr. JB.
And I've been that bitch, Calista Valentine.
And we will see y'all. Take it easy.
In the next one. Bye.